I said on the radio that I didn't think it would last, though.
What, me and him?
Yeah,
Why?
because you're about 25.
The whole scene is about to get shaken up by what Blu Cantrell is claiming she just put out, so stay alert. People have whispered for years about her alleged link to Jay-Z, but now she's stepping forward with a version of events that sounds way more intense than anyone expected. She's painting a picture that's messy, dramatic, and hard to ignore, and it's got everyone talking. Blu is alleging that Jay-Z got her pregnant during some secret industry situation, and she's telling it like it was hidden from the public eye. The story gets even heavier when she claims Beyonce stepped in and pushed for the pregnancy to end. Now people are asking, was that about protecting an image, handling pressure, or something deeper behind the scenes? None of this is confirmed, but the claims alone are setting social media on fire. According to Blu's version, this could flip how people see the Carters and their business moves completely. She's describing a situation that feels raw, chaotic, and honestly kind of shocking. The spotlight is now on this alleged triangle involving Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Blu Cantrell, and the way it's being told sounds more tangled than anyone saw coming. If you've been keeping up with Diddy and Jay-Z, then you already know they were seen as tight for years, no question about it. Some people even hinted it went deeper than just friendship, like they were moving as a team behind the scenes. But things flipped fast when Diddy started facing legal trouble, and suddenly Jay-Z seemed to distance himself like none of that history mattered. That switch-up had people raising eyebrows, with talk spreading that maybe he was just trying to stay clear before any spotlight hit him too. At first, a lot of folks thought Jay-Z stepped back because of the serious accusations surrounding Diddy. But that idea didn't stick for long. Instead, others started saying he might have felt untouchable after years of success, especially after beating a civil case brought by attorney Tony Busby. That kind of win had people thinking he believed he could move however he wanted without consequences. Now, Blu Cantrell is stepping in and calling out both Jay-Z and Beyonce, adding even more tension to the story. She claims she and Jay-Z were once involved and even attended private industry parties together. That alone has people asking questions, but the real mystery is how they even crossed paths in the first place. To really understand all this, you've got to rewind back to the 1990s. That's when people first started whispering about a possible connection between Blu Cantrell and Jay-Z because they seemed unusually close behind the scenes. At the time, Blu was grinding in the background, doing backup vocals for big names like Diddy, quietly building her name while staying out of the spotlight. It didn't take long for industry executives to notice her talent, though. She stood out, and they knew she had serious star power. L.A. Reid stepped in, saw the potential, and brought her over to Arista Records, convinced she was about to blow up in a big way. Then in 2001, she dropped her debut album, So Blue, and it hit hard. The project earned her 2 Grammy nominations, landed multiple top 10 tracks, and pushed its way up to number 8 on the Billboard 200. Within just a couple of weeks, it went gold, and people were already saying she was next up. But this is where things start getting complicated. Around that same time, Blu and Jay-Z were getting closer, building a connection that had people talking. At the same time, Jay-Z was also trying to win over Beyonce, which made the situation feel even more layered and intense. So the big question is, why was he still linked to Blu at that time? Reports suggest Jay-Z was keeping his options open, not fully committing because he didn't want to risk another situation going left. After things didn't work out with Aaliyah, people say he wasn't trying to put everything on the line again and end up disappointed. That move alone had folks side-eyeing his intentions because it made everything feel calculated. And then things got even more intense in 2003. Blu dropped her second album. Right around the same time, Beyonce released her solo debut, Dangerously in Love. 2 major projects, same moment, both tied to the same circle. It was almost guaranteed people would start comparing them. Suddenly, it wasn't just about music anymore. It started feeling like a quiet rivalry building in real time. What made it messier was the fact that both women were connected to Jay-Z in different ways, which only added more pressure to the situation. Conversations that should have stayed about charts and songs quickly turned into talk about personal lives and behind-the-scenes drama. Still, Blu made it clear, saying she and Jay were just cool and worked together, shutting down any claims that something romantic was going on at that point. But most people weren't buying that story at all. When Beyonce showed up in photos around that time, it looked like she was trying to stay far away from any messy love triangle talk. Still, once Blu sat down for that interview with Wendy Williams, everything started heating up fast. And if you know Wendy, you already know she doesn't hold back. She's bold, peer-to-peer, and always asks the questions everyone else is thinking but won't say out loud. So of course, Wendy went straight to it and asked Blu if she had ever kissed Jay-Z or been involved with him romantically. That was the perfect moment for Blu to shut everything down and clear the air once and for all. But instead of giving a clear answer, she laughed it off and danced around the question, which only made things look even more suspicious. That reaction didn't calm anything down. It did the exact opposite. People started talking even louder, and the rumors spread even faster, turning that one interview into a major talking point that just wouldn't die down.
Have you ever kissed Jay-Z romantically?
No. No, I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
Oh, she's touching him off the neck. Look! You see?
Why do people not want to let the Jay-Z Blu Cantrell thing go?
Because, honey, that was a fabulous little high point in your
Well, what about Beyonce and Jay-Z? That's fabulous.
Honestly, there were way better ways Blu could have handled that moment, but laughing it off and dodging the question might have been the worst move possible. Instead of clearing things up, she ended up making the rumors even louder, giving people more reason to speculate and dig deeper. Then Wendy took things a step further and brought up the idea that maybe Jay-Z chose Beyonce because she was younger. That question alone had people locked in, waiting to hear how Blu would respond. But instead of shutting it down completely, Blu pushed back in a way that shocked a lot of viewers. She said it wasn't about age at all and claimed that Jay-Z was drawn to Beyonce because she was more impressionable and easier to influence. That kind of statement instantly turned heads and added a whole new layer to the story. Blu didn't hold back either. She leaned into her point and made it clear that, in her view, that was exactly the type of woman he was looking for, saying,
Said on the radio that I didn't think it would last, though.
What, me and him?
Yeah,
Why?
because you're about 25.
Why, he needs somebody younger than
At
that?
the end of the day, yeah.
Why did he say that?
Because I think at the end of the day, a younger, less savvy to the ways of the world broad.
Somebody a little bit more naive.
A lot of people felt like Blu was throwing serious shade at Beyonce back then, no question. But when you really look at everything she later said about the situation she was in, it starts to sound like she might have been speaking from her own experience more than anything else. She seemed to be reflecting on what she went through, especially since she admitted she was pretty naive at the time. Some even claim she didn't fully realize what was happening around her until it was already too late. So even if her words came off harsh, there's an argument that she wasn't trying to tear Beyonce down directly. Still, that didn't stop things from getting way more tense between them as time went on. Blu didn't hold back either, and it became clear there was real friction between the two. At one point, she even accused Beyonce of copying her style and visuals and presenting them as original. The situation kept escalating, with Blu also claiming that elements of her Roundup video were taken when Jay-Z and Beyonce dropped Bonnie and Clyde. That only added more fuel to an already heated situation. Before Beyonce's hit with Sean Paul even took over, Blu came out strong again, accusing her of copying her vibe when Baby Boy dropped. Blu pointed to her own track Breathe with Sean Paul and made it seem like the similarities weren't just a coincidence. That claim alone had people debating non-stop, trying to figure out who really did it first. Then things got even more interesting with talk around Beyonce's song Signs. In the lyrics, Beyonce sings, "I wish you was a Virgo. The same sign as me, yeah, and know how to show me love, cause I've been hurt by a Pisces girl." And fans immediately started connecting dots. Since Beyonce is a Virgo, Blu Cantrell is a Pisces, and Jay-Z is a Sagittarius, people started reading into it heavy, thinking it was a subtle message about what was really going on behind the scenes. For some, it all started to click in a way that felt way too specific to ignore. The internet ran with it, mixing music, astrology, and rumor into one big theory that spread fast. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more complicated or strange, Blu was directly asked about Beyonce in an interview with The Guardian. The way she responded had people paying very close attention. Let's just say that interview didn't calm anything down. It actually made everything way more intense. If anything, it pushed the drama to a whole new level and had people locked in. Blu came with a bold response saying, "I'm an adult, she's younger, and if she's doing what you're saying, then she's being a little immature. Maybe she's trying to do it to get press, but I want to make her understand if she goes there with me, it's the wrong." That alone had people stunned because of how direct it sounded. She didn't stop there either. Blu also brought Jay-Z into the conversation, saying that if Beyonce had an issue, she should take it up with him instead. She even added, "If she is being negative, she doesn't need to be because she's a beautiful girl. But if you have issues with your man, address it with the guy. Don't take it out on the girl. It's never the way to go." That statement had people talking heavy, with reactions coming from all sides. After that interview, things seemed to shift in a big way for Blu Cantrell. Even though she had real success with her first 2 albums, she suddenly faded out of the spotlight. No new hits, no major releases, just silence. For a lot of people watching, the timing felt unexpected and raised even more questions. Some people started wondering if there was something bigger happening behind the scenes this whole time. Then out of nowhere in late 2013, Blu popped back up saying she was a free agent and working on a 3rd album. Fans got excited, thinking this was her comeback moment. But that project never saw the light of day, which only added more mystery to her situation. Things took a much more serious turn in 2014 when reports came out that she had been hospitalized after what was described as a mental health crisis. It was a deeply concerning situation that left a lot of people questioning what she might have been going through away from the spotlight. According to reports, she was found in Santa Monica around 2 a.m., visibly distressed and claiming someone had tried to harm her using a poisonous gas. Authorities stepped in, and she was taken to the hospital for evaluation, turning the situation into something far more alarming and emotional. Fans weren't accepting the situation at face value at all. Even though some industry insiders tried to brush it off as just another mental health episode and hinted that substance use might have been involved, a lot of people weren't convinced. They started pointing out how parts of Blu's story sounded similar to what happened to actor Martin Lawrence, who also went through a sudden and confusing public incident that left people with more questions than answers. Because of that, supporters began to wonder if there was something deeper going on behind the scenes. To them, it didn't feel like a random situation or simple coincidence. It felt like there might be more layers that weren't being explained. That idea started spreading fast, especially online, where people were already questioning everything. Then Jaguar Wright stepped into the conversation and added even more intensity to it. And if you know anything about her, you already know she speaks her mind without holding back or softening her words. She made it clear she had strong opinions about situations like this. And when she talks, people tend to listen closely because she doesn't filter what she's saying.
Blu. The first Blu. Not they daughter Blu Cantrell. You were singing my fool. And you made a choice to work with someone and you probably didn't realize how nefarious he was when you got involved with him. I didn't. Blu, it's time to talk. It's time for you to sing again. Because I know you still got the chops. You got the gift. Just like me. Jay-Z worked very hard to erase you and me. Just like he did Elle. Just like he did his relationship with R. Kelly. Just like he did his relationship with Aaliyah. Blu, it's time to talk.
Now that Blu Cantrell is finally opening up about her side, it seems like what Jaguar Wright said may have actually pushed her to speak out. Blu is now claiming that a powerful figure played a role in getting her removed from her label as payback, and she wants it clear that stepping away from the spotlight wasn't her choice at all. It was something happening behind the scenes. She even explained it in her own words, saying, "I would have got my lawyer because that lawyer ended up representing them, which was a conflict of interest. So they were all working together to basically take what was mine. Nobody really knows the whole truth about me and them, but I was really taken advantage of." That statement alone raised serious questions and had people looking at her situation very differently. And then things take an even more intense turn. Someone close to Blu is now claiming she's speaking on shocking accusations that go way beyond industry politics. According to these claims, Blu believes Beyonce tried to harm her back in 2014, tying it to everything that allegedly happened between her and Jay-Z. These are serious allegations that remain unverified, but the way they're being told has definitely caught people's attention and added even more tension to an already complicated story. According to these claims, Beyonce allegedly took extreme steps to make sure this secret never got out once she found out about it. That alone had people stunned because of how big the names involved are. What already sounded like a complicated situation suddenly started to feel even more intense and hard to process. The story doesn't stop there either. It's being alleged that after an earlier attempt to harm her supposedly failed, Beyonce pressured Blu into ending the pregnancy. Blu claims there were serious threats and heavy pressure involved, making it far from a simple situation. These are very serious accusations, and none of them have been confirmed, but they've definitely fueled a lot of conversation online. It gets even more layered, with claims suggesting this wasn't an isolated situation. Some people have tried to connect similar rumors to other artists, like Tierra Mari, saying she may have gone through something alike because of alleged ties to Jay-Z. A viral blind item even pushed that idea further, sending social media into a frenzy and sparking all kinds of theories. Still, it's important to remember these are all unverified claims and interpretations, but the way they've spread has turned this into one of the most talked about stories, with people watching closely to see what comes out next. There are also rumors tied to Tierra Mari, with some claims suggesting her music career slowed down because of Beyonce. At the time, Tierra was young, gaining attention, and starting to make noise in the industry, so people were already watching her closely. Some stories even tried to link her to Jay-Z, despite the age gap, saying there may have been a brief connection developing. According to these rumors, Beyonce wasn't happy once she supposedly found out, and things quickly shifted after that. The claims go on to say that moves were made behind the scenes that affected Tierra's momentum in a big way. None of this has been confirmed, but it's the kind of talk that keeps popping up in these conversations. Some even say the situation was meant to send a message, warning others not to get too close or cross certain lines. Whether that's true or not, the narrative stuck with people because of how fast Tierra's trajectory seemed to change. One minute she was being called the next big star, and the next, she wasn't getting the same level of attention anymore, which had people questioning what really happened. And then there's the situation involving Cathy White, which adds another layer people can't stop talking about. Some reports have claimed that, like Blu, Cathy was allegedly expecting a child connected to Jay-Z. What really shocked people is that she passed away suddenly right before she was reportedly going to go public with everything. That timing alone has kept the rumors alive for years. There have been all kinds of theories floating around, with some sources even making serious claims about what might have happened behind the scenes. None of these claims have ever been confirmed, but they continue to spark debate and speculation online. When people look at Blu's story alongside this, they start drawing connections and asking more questions about what was really going on. It's a complicated and controversial narrative, and opinions are all over the place. If you've been following this story, drop your thoughts below because people are definitely divided on this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment to stay tapped in for more updates.